All right, coaches, welcome to my YouTube channel. This week I've been focusing on coaches that are producing materials for other coaches. I'm a huge fan of supporting coaches that are out there doing this and that are willing to produce materials. Obviously, a lot of you know that I do that. I go and purchase materials as well and go look for materials and go look for different things from these different places. And so wanted to bring a lot of these guys on. Today, I'm really excited to have Rick Stewart. I think a lot of you may know him. He was actually, for me, the first real football material I bought when I went to my offense. I found his probably old school, all the binders and all that stuff material. And so went and got it. And then as I have kind of got to know Rick recently, it's been cool to see a lot of the other things he did that I had no idea about. And so, again, this week's is about for coaches by coaches, and so the guys that are putting stuff out. So I'm excited to have Rick on. Rick, why don't you real quickly, some guys may know a little bit about your materials, but they might not know about your football career. So give us
First of all, thanks for having me on. And I have appreciated our friendship. It's really blossomed this last year. I went out to Alabama to film a clinic put on by our mutual friend, Shay Monroe, and Kenny was a speaker there. And then I think it was really late that night. In fact, I was heading to the airport in just a couple hours. We sat at the table late at night. And I think we were the last two to leave. And you had told me that. And that's that big old binder I shipped it has 22 DVDs on the pistol wing tee and the playbook. And I've got the skills manual and old line manual. It's got the whole, I call it the whole enchilada. Instead of buying one bean, you get the whole enchilada. My career, I started coaching at a real young age. I was a high school sophomore, junior, and our football coaches came out and pulled a couple of us aside and asked us if we want to go coach the little youth football, peewees, whatever you call it. This is like fourth, fifth graders. So I really got the bug. I really liked it. In fact, I started coaching youth basketball and youth baseball my junior and senior year for the local rec department. The city I grew up in, all the sports were ran through the city rec department, and I really got a bug. And then I was kind of a knucklehead my senior year. I went from a straight A student to barely a 2.0. I'd really lost motivation. I thought school was pointless. I was a very poor kid. My dad died when I was little. It was just my mom trying to raise three boys. So I didn't even think I could afford to go to college. So I kind of just lost the zest. Nobody had pointed out to me. There was no AVID programs back then. And, my wife now, we've been happily married for, I think going on 36 years, believe it or not. I got her pregnant my senior year. We were boyfriend and girlfriend. And so we got married and went to the Marine Corps. And we jokingly said we had babies. We were still babies. Kenny, I had 3 daughters before I was 21 years old. So my 20s, but I look back and my 20s was such a nice time because we didn't have money. We weren't having to be driven by the things that we're driven by now. It was just us and the girls, and Friday night was pizza and a movie night. And I worked nights. I cleaned toilets. I bagged groceries. I had all kinds of jobs. I went back to that town, was the Parks and Rec director. City of Bakersfield, I ran all the adult softball leagues. And I was trying to go to college on the GI Bill whenever I could fit in my schedule and trying to pay bills and support my family. It took me 8 years to get that 4th degree. Anyways, I get out of the Marine Corps, and I'm going to, I've said this story a lot. Some guys have probably heard it. I'm driving all over the county down there in Central California. I live in the part of California that's not on the TV, right? I'm 2 hours from the ocean. I'm 2 hours from the mountains. In fact, where I live, you would think if I blindfolded you, would think you would land in Nebraska. It's very agricultural, very flat. That movie McFarland on Netflix with Kevin Costner, which is a really good movie if you're in education, by the way. It's a true story. The guy was a total inspiration. I'm going over the county putting in substitute teacher applications. I land in McFarland. I leave my substitute teacher application. I already had it pre-filled. I just dropped it off. I'm on the road. This is how long it was. They paged me on the drive home. I have to pull out my calling card, John Lithgow, whatever that number was. And they said, can you try and come back when I talk about this application? So I try and go back. I just graduated from college. All I have is what they call a CSET, our basic, not CSET, we had to take a basic skills test back then. I had not been in the credential program. I hadn't taken the praxis. I have a bachelor's degree and this piece of paper that said I can pass basic algebra. And I walk in thinking it's for substitute teaching. And he's like, starts asking me questions like, can you teach physics? Can you teach chemistry? My degree's in biology, by the way. And I go, I don't think in my head, I go, sir, if you want me to clean toilets, I'll do it. I got 3 little girls at home I got to feed. So I'm just saying yes to everything, right? I mean, I took physics. I flunked physics my senior year in high school, and I didn't even take physics in college. And he hires me as a physics teacher. So I walk out of there. I walk in as a substitute teacher. I walk out not only as a science teacher, but then at the last 5 minutes, he throws out and goes, hey, I see here you play a little high school football. Do you want to coach our football team? Now, my experience at this point has been coaching 5th and 6th graders. I coached 8th grade football for like 4 years, and I had about 2 years as a freshman football coach. And Lindsay's a small town where I grew up. I mean, this is a school of like 600, right? This is not big time freshman football. I'm the head varsity football coach. And oh, by the way, the next day when the AD calls, he says, did the principal tell you we're 0-24? We haven't won a game. So anyways, that's the journey. I didn't even know what I didn't know. And a lot of really great coaches. Coaching is such a great community. A lot of coaches, when I reached out to them, I would take sick days, and they were always just really helpful and got me through that. So there was the 0-24 McFarland. Then I left for a little bit, and they went 1-19 when I left. I went back and got that turned around again. Then I went up the road to another school that were 0-27. Then I went to another school, really big school. Now these are small schools of 600, 800. Went to a big school of 1,800, which is medium size in California. It's big everywhere else. A school of 1,800 that had, I think they'd won 8 games in 5 years. I think that's the math. And they've never won a playoff game in 110 years. And that's the one where we made the videos with Championship Productions. We were doing really good, and Championship Productions reached out and made the videos. I thought it'd be cool. My way of giving back. People, you know, I'm telling you guys, you don't make any money on those Championship Production things. It's a really bad business deal. You get 10%. I was talking to a coach the other day. He said he hasn't even got a check like in 3 years because they haven't sold enough to pay for the check that they write. So, you know, every DVD, I get $4 or something. But it was really cool, right? It got me on the speaking circuit, got me introduced with Glazier, got me on the Nike thing. And now I've got the bug, because now the bug is about, wow, I could really reach out and help a lot of coaches. And by then I still wasn't the expert. I was still kind of figuring my stuff out, but I'd been a head coach now for, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm about my 12th year in as head coach. So I had a little bit to give back. And there was a lot of coaches in my situation, right, where they were the math teacher on campus. They got called in. There was no interviews, and they said, here's the keys. You're the head football coach. I was shocked how many coaches are like that in a lot of states. And so it was really, really awesome that I was now able to help coaches on a national level. I thought that was really cool. And then I'm getting to meet all these coaches on a national level. And then what was really cool was coaches started flying me to their school to put the pistol wing tee in. So I got to see high school campuses and how things operated in Wyoming and North Dakota and Alabama and Georgia. And that was really cool. And speaking at the clinics. And so, you know, we all want to give back, right? We all want to help coaches. And I always tell people, I don't know why God picked me, because the only ring I have is a wedding ring. I mean, I didn't play college football. I've never won a state title. I mean, I've won a couple games here or there. And for some reason, I'm helping coaches all over the country. And then the emails that we get, that's really important to me, to return the emails and help coaches out whenever I can. And so that's kind of where it kind of took off with my career. My head coaching career in California kind of got derailed a little bit. I got diagnosed with leukemia. My son's senior year was kind of at the time, it was very traumatic. You know, you get leukemia, you're not even knowing, am I getting chemo? Am I losing my hair? What's going to happen? Turned out I have the good leukemia. And that life-changing experience got me to leave the classroom teacher. Unlike Arkansas head coaches, all those years I was a head coach, I taught 6 periods of science. You are a science teacher. And California makes that very clear. They interview you as the football coach. They roll out the red carpet and they hire you the football coach and do the press conference. But then during the season, the principal is really good about calling you in and saying, now, you know, you're a teacher first. And, you know, you go to, I was texting your buddy, Tommy Gilliran. We were texting last night back and forth, talking about the difference in cost of living and stuff. it blew his mind that during football season, I would go to 1 hour staff meetings every Monday after school. So I didn't even get to football practice till like 4:35 p.m. It was mandatory. I had to go to the staff meeting. I'm like, I'm in season. I got to practice. I got boys out there unsupervised. That's how California kind of views football coaches. You get paid the same as the girls golf coach. All the stipends are the same. If you're the head varsity coach, you just get the same stipend. So it's just crazy, right? And I didn't understand that until I started traveling. And so I was a little disenchanted, and then I got the leukemia, and I said, I need to do something different. And so this all access thing boiled up, and I recruited a bunch of coaches. Kenny's on our team, and we just recruited a bunch of coaches on how can we collectively give back to the game. And now it's kind of a cool story. I coach in Pennsylvania. I live in California. That's where I'm at right now. And, Kenny, it's really cold here. I think it's about 74 degrees outside right now. It's about 9 a.m. Kenny and I are sending pictures back and forth. I'm sending pictures back with my son in blue skies in my pool in the backyard, and he's sending pictures of his kids playing in the snow. But it's kind of a cool deal. I go to Pennsylvania every year in the fall and coach. My son lives out there, and so he and I run the offense. And I don't have to be the head coach. I just kind of show up, and I run the offense, and we get a hunt and fish, and then the other, I don't know, 7 or 8 months out of the year, I live here in California. So that's kind of where I'm at in my journey.
Yeah. No, and knowing Rick personally, guys, I can tell you he's a worker. To me, I appreciate guys. I was born to a 16-year-old mom and a 17-year-old dad who joined the Air Force. So I can, on the other end of that, those guys, and my parents are still married too. Those guys are workers, and I know Rick is definitely in that. And you kind of led up to where you started your company. And, to me, I know you've got multiple things out. I know I got your pistol wing tee. You've got some other things kind of in the works. The all access deal I thought was really cool. I'm all about, and I think the guys that are watching this and the guys that are looking for football materials are looking for things that are for coaches, that are by coaches, that have lived it, that have done that. It's easy sometimes to go hear a great guy who's won a national title. You don't really live in that same world, or I don't live in that same world. And so I always prefer to go to guys like you, or guys like me, or guys like some of the other guys we've had on this week that are living it, day by day, that are going through what we're really going through. So when you started, let's just start with your pistol wing tee. When you put something out there, sometimes there are people that really like it, and sometimes there are people that don't like it as much. So let's talk about, the good and the bad of putting materials out there for other coaches.
I don't know if coaches really appreciate how much time goes into it. But when I started the thing, my motto was coaches helping coaches. That was really important. I'm exactly like you, Kitty. I'm not really attracted towards college coaches. People always say, go see their spring practices. And I do. I like the way they run their practice, but it's not apples to apples. They've got 5 GAs running around on Gators and putting your stuff out. They're all full-time coaches. They only coach one side of the ball. Obviously they can recruit towards their schemes. One of my pet peeves, I'm not an anti-spread guy. If I had those kind of athletes, I'd probably look at slinging the ball around a little bit. But, I had to find a system. And I think a lot of coaches, when I try to help coaches, you'll find a system that fits where you're at, right? Fits your personnel. You've talked about at Arkansas, this new school, you're going to make some modifications because you've got to make it fit your personnel. And I think too many times guys are like, no, this is what I'm going to run. And so all of a sudden, you want to drive a Mustang convertible with the top down, but you're in Wyoming in a snow blizzard. And so, that's the car you want to drive, but look where you live. So, you're not being rational. So, and that's where I was, right. And I got told that early in my career, and I'm a lot of things, but I ain't stupid. I listen to guys that have already done it. I don't go through and try to reinvent the wheel. The wing tee's been around for 50 years. That blocking scheme works. It's worked at the D1 level. There's more state championships that's ever been run in the history of football have been won running the wing tee. There's no other offense that's won more state titles. And so, I had to hang my hat on a system and not reinvent the wheel, and the system works, and I just put it into place and make it match my personnel. And so then, that philosophy then was born out of the coaches helping coaches, right? Find other coaches that are walking the same hallways and the same, situations we are. We've got to make a 165-pound guard an all-league guard, right? We've got to win with a 5'10" quarterback, right? We got to win with receivers that, all have 5'2" 40s. So, how do you do that, right? The kid playing the D tackle, he's just big. He ain't strong. He's just big, right? So I wanted to find coaches that were in our shoes. And there are some high school coaches that are extremely blessed. They've got indoor facilities. They've got athletes. They've got 3 or 4 D1 guys like every stinking year. Okay. There's a coach I really respect. I'm going to say this. JT Curtis down in Louisiana. He's a strong, devout Christian. In fact, he's a preacher on Sundays. An incredible human being. And we're watching him in a clinic because I was trying to do the veer, and he stopped and he was very honest with us. He goes, "Now, guys, before I show this game film, full disclosure, all 5 of these linemen went D1 and this running back went to Auburn." Oh, because that's the world I live in, right? Now, JT taught me a lot in that session. I learned a lot about the veer, but it was hard watching his game film, right? Because I have never, ever, it's been 19 years now as a head coach, never coached a scholarship athlete. So one of the big driving things, man, coaches help with coaches is putting out materials that can help the everyday coach. I'm always thinking about the 2A guy coaching 2A ball in North Dakota and Oregon. And I'm not leaking of the private school. I'm not trying to gear towards the guys that are in the USA top 20. Those guys don't need my help, right? I'm trying to help the Rick Stewart who walked in for a substitute teaching interview and walked out as the head football coach. Doesn't really, no clue, right? And so that's kind of what drove my resources. The pistol wing tee came out before I had this vision. My other products since then, I've always just thought about, okay, what can I do to help that coach who just got the head coaching job and is thinking, oh my God, I don't know what to do in the weight room. I don't know how to fundraise. What do I do with parents? I'm an offensive guy. What the heck do I do about defense? I don't have a D coordinator, and I've been there too, right? You're just looking around going, did anybody even play defense in high school? Good, you're the D coordinator. I've had to do that, right? There's been years where I was coordinator of all 3. I just didn't have to be qualified. That first year, McFarland, we had 2 coaches, me and good old my best friend, Jim Fergoso. I'm not kidding, Kenny. There was 2 coaches on the football field with 50 football players. No indies. We couldn't do indies. We got 2 guys. So he would take the D line and I took linebackers and DBs. And then he would take linebackers and D line for inside run. And I would take the DBs. That's how we did it, right? I would take all the backs receivers while he took O line for the indies. And then I would take O line and running backs for inside run while he took receivers and he was a linebacker in college. So, that when I make my products, that's how my mind works, right? How can I help these coaches? And I get it, right? Us teachers, we're not rich. We're not making that superintendent salary. So then how do you make it affordable? How do you make it affordable? So it's definitely a balance. You know what? I don't know if I've really got critiqued too much about the X and O's part. I think everybody's appreciated the X and O's we put out. I think at this point, I take some criticism about why is it not free? Everyone wants it free. They think that coaches should just give everything away. And I'm a little jaded there because I do work really, really long hours. When we go speak at a clinic, as Kenny's over there nodding, it probably takes us 6, 7, 8 hours to put that presentation together, to find the right game film, put your PowerPoints together. And then guys email me and they just want the PowerPoint for free. And I'm thinking, God, I don't put about 8 hours in this thing. They want me to just put my pistol wing tee book out. There's a free PDF. That book took me at least 300 to 400 hours to write that book. You give up because you're still a family guy. You're still a teacher. I'm writing that book on Sundays. I'm writing that book on birthdays. I'll never forget. It was Christmas Day that, we got that morning, kids all open the presents. I had to hit a deadline. And so about middle of the day that they're all out there kind of napping and playing on the kids' toys. And I jump in the office, I'm knocking out a couple of work. And my wife and daughter came in and let me have it. It's Christmas Day, Dad. Close this damn door and get back out here with your family. But I'm thinking, I got all this work out. I got to get all this work out. So lots of holidays, lots of Sundays. When I was teaching and I was putting these materials out, you got to stay up to 2, 3 in the morning to get it done, because you can't do it during the day. I'm teaching science all day. And so I think right now the balance I'm writing, and I know Kenny and I've had this private conversation. I'm walking this balance of how do you give back, and yet how do you make sure that the coaches that I'm working with are fairly compensated for the time of putting the materials together, the time away from their family. When I go speak at a clinic, I leave on Thursday night and I get home late Sunday night. And that's to speak for 6 hours on a Saturday. And when clinic season's going, I do that for 8 straight weekends. And trust me, guys, we lose money when we go speak. We lose money. Glacier does pay you to speak, but when you add up the airport parking and the food and everything, you are in the red when you come home. I mean, we do not make money on the speaking circuit. I'm just telling you right now. And so you come home and you're looking at your wife and you're handing her a $700 check, but yet you got $1,000 in expenses. And she's like, now explain to me why you do this again. So that, I think that's where I'm at right now, Kenny. And I think you are too, as a businessman. We've kind of talked about is that, and then the cost of, like right now, we're on a Zoom thing. We don't use the free Zoom accounts that you guys all have at your schools for these. We have to pay for the Zoom. We have to pay for the website. We have to pay for a host like at GoDaddy. We have to, you guys would be really shocked how much bills start racking up when you build a website. There's just all these little things that these IT nerds come and say, well, you need this plugin. Oh, here's another $300. You need this plugin. Oh, there's another $300. Hey, you need this plugin. You need this. You need this. Oh, you want to take money on PayPal? You got to charge. Oh my God. It's like, you're like a little ATM machine, it goes out feeding the beast, getting that website up. So I think that's where I'm at right now, right? It's kind of balancing is how do I give back to the game? We're still fairly compensating the coaches that I've published, the coaches that have put together the videos and put together the books, and what's fair? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know you're like me too, Rick. I know if a coach ever came to me or you and they legitimately didn't have the money, we would give them whatever they needed.
I do it all the time.
And so I think that's kind of the way I try to balance. And guys that are listening to this, if you're in that spot, your school won't pay and you're working 3 jobs, man, we'll give you whatever. And I know Rick is the same way. Rick, let's kind of talk a little bit about a couple of things. Let's talk about products. So I know obviously you're making it, but I know you go get stuff too. So where are some places, coaches may be watching this? Of course, you've got your All Access. We're going to get to that in a minute, which is I would highly recommend. Where are other places you go to find, because I know we're still coaching. So I know I'm still looking for guys to follow and do. And so where are some places you may go?
I'm going to choose my words wisely here. So I went down the road with Champs Productions. I would say that's how most people found out about me. And Champs Productions is not a dishonest company. They're very honest. Everything that was in those contracts, they do it. But, it wasn't really a good deal for the coaches. And like I said, $4 for every DVD. The Champs Productions is making all the money and the coaches aren't. And that kind of started bothering me. And now Champs Productions has went to this online streaming thing, and they have chosen to not compensate the coaches for that. They are saying that our contracts were in the days of DVDs. No, it doesn't have to do with streaming. So they're doing all this streaming, putting stuff out on Amazon and streaming and not compensating the coaches. So I'm kind of anti now. I refuse to buy a product from, the companies that are, I think, exploiting coaches, right? And that's where I think our friend Wade Floyd, the owner of CoachTube, but who I can actually call one of my best friends. In fact, we were on the phone last night for 2 or 3 hours. He's in that ice storm in Texas. He has no power. He has no electricity. Just, hey, Wade, are you doing okay? Wade came up with this platform called CoachTube, which most of you have probably heard. And if you haven't, you need to head over there. It's just coachtube.com. And it's a platform. All Wade is a web designer. He's that computer nerd. And he allows guys like me and Kenny and these other guys that Kenny's going to put on this YouTube channel. It allows us a platform to put our stuff out there where we can share with coaches. We set the prices, and I've got products on there for free. I've got several products on there for free because I do want to have something that a coach could grab and not to pay for. I've got products that are $7, $4. And then I've got some products a little bit more expensive, depending on how much time went into it. And I think that's really where I'm at. I think at this point in my career, it's definitely the CoachTube. This COVID environment has completely changed the way information is disseminated. Kenny and I were fortunate enough, and it was a lot of work, but it was very rewarding. We did this Wings and Things clinic. We had hundreds and hundreds of coaches on. We had 84 topics, 30 speakers. Kenny and I are definitely going to do that again next year. So I say at this point, it was Coach Tube and Glazier, right? I'm a big fan of Glazier. Those guys have been very good to me. Chris Cofton's owner is a very good human being. And so that's kind of where I gravitate toward. But now with this whole Zoom environment, I think it needs to be polished the way we do it. I think there's a way to do it because it's too easy to be a blind dog in a butcher shop right now, right? These coaches can build this Frankenstein offense. There's so much information out there. And I know if I was 20 years old, I would have this Frankenstein offense going, okay, I'm going to do this air raid. I'm going to throw this RPO in, and I'm going to run wing T, and then I'm going to get a one back, and I'm going to run inside zone because that's a great play. Oh, I got to run pin and pull. Oh, my God, I got to put duo in. Look at that. That's a great play. And all of a sudden, I'm at practice, and I got 3 hours. I got an hour on Monday, an hour on Tuesday, an hour on Wednesday. And how in the hell am I going to get ready for Friday night? I've got 22 run plays in and 32 pass concepts. So I think we need to kind of rethink. I think I've got some ideals. Kenny and I are going to, next year, you guys we got some cool ideals brewing. You know what? Like I said, I visited the college campuses, but they don't walk in our world. I enjoy those college clinics. Going to the spring practices. I like doing that, but I don't know how much of that I brought home that I could use. I've come home with a couple of good ideas. There was one other one that popped in my head though, that, YouTube. I think YouTube's a black hole for time. I actually kind of shy away from YouTube. You spend a lot of time going down through video, because YouTube doesn't give you a preview. It doesn't give you a description of what you're going to watch. So you got to sit through this video, and the fast forwarding sucks. And so I kind of stay away from that because I know if I get on YouTube, I'm going to be on there for about 6 hours and not find what I'm at the point of my life, Kenny. I'll pay the $20 if I know it's going to give me the information I want versus go try to find it free on the internet. I'll pay $20 because my time is valuable. My time with my family, the time I've got to put into my program, the time I got to put into my football kids and my real biological kids. I'll pay $20 because I know that hour is going to be well spent. I'll get my information out of that 1 hour, and that $20 is worth my time versus go on the internet for 8 hours and maybe not find what I want. And that's one of my big advices at coaches is that I think coaches waste a lot of time trying to go out there and find everything for free. And all you're getting is bits and pieces, right? So all of a sudden you've got this car and all 4 tires are different. And you've got a Ford engine and a Chevy chassis, and your back seat looks different than your front seat because you're trying to piece this together because you didn't buy a system. So I actually stay away from YouTube. It's probably why my YouTube channel sucks right now. I've only got like 300 subscribers. I don't have the thousands that Kenny does. And you know what? I'm going to build my YouTube channel. And with that thought in mind, I'm trying to figure out how to way to organize YouTube so that a guy can come to my YouTube channel and not waste time. So I personally have stayed away from YouTube. I think it's a black hole for time.
Yeah, no, ironically, this is airing on YouTube, but it's still, I'm with you. I've tried to always make sure everything was organized because I'll end up watching a meme of a dog, running. If I end up on YouTube or even on Twitter at times, I'll end up who knows where. So I'm with you on that. And Rick, I know, kind of leading into the last little bit of this, I know you've got All Access, which is I'm blessed to be a part of, putting out some of my 3-4 defenses. Yep. I know you've got some really awesome stuff. And kind of going with your motto there, these are guys putting out a full system. So if a guy wants to go learn the 4, real simple version of mine, or they want to learn the 4-2-5, or they want to learn air raid, or they want to learn, you've got it all kind of right there for them. So real quickly, and I know you're kind of a humble guy, but plug, what you've got, because I think it's a good thing. And I think guys, if they'll know about it, may be able to go on there and find something that can help them.
One of the things I figured out as I went through this journey, and obviously when I get flown to a school to put pistol wing T in, state championship coaches are not flying me in, right? These are schools that are struggling, and they're bringing me in because they're trying to figure it out. They went 0-10 and they needed a change. So all the campuses I've been on have been struggling programs. And I'm really proud of the fact that I was able to help some of those guys, because I think 12 of them have went on to win state titles after I left. So that's very rewarding and gratifying that those kids and those coaches kind of did the worst to first journey that I got to go on, which is a rewarding journey. It's a very painful and time-consuming journey when you do the worst to first. One thing I found out when you get that head coaching job and the school's 2-8 or they're 0-10 or because I mean, honestly, Kenny got it blessed. He got hired at a team that was defending state champions. That's very rare, right? The jobs that you get hired into. But when he went to Southside, they were horrible, and they had no money and they had nothing. And you're just like, so I really caution coaches about their playbook, right? Don't just go out and have a collection of plays. And the other thing is I think coaches make a tragic mistake in that they start with their playbook. I want to be a head coach, and so I'm putting together my playbook. Dude, honestly, that's the last place you go. Because when you become a head coach, you're going to find out that, honestly, that's what sucks about being a head coach, is you don't get to spend any time on X's and O's. You are managing people. So you better be good with your core values. You better be good with all that stuff. So I'm really system driven. I'm not real excited about putting out one video. It's not really worth my time. And I think I'm doing a disservice to the coaching community if I only put out one video. I honestly think I'm doing a disservice to the coaching community if I do give away stuff for free, because then that coach didn't go through the painful journey of building his stuff. I think you've got to sit down and go through it. So I only want to go through a system. And my definition is, and I didn't invent this, I think most coaches have the same definition. A system has answers. Do you have answers for what the other coach, who's going to be very talented, is going to throw at you, right? There's every wing tee guru on the internet thinks they know how to stop the wing tee. So are you going to read guards? Are you going to blitz A gaps? Are you going to blitz the edges? Are you going to not blitz? Are you going to read and react? Are you going to penetrate? We've seen it all. We're going to cut your guards. We're going to do this. We're going to cover your guards. We're not going to cover your guards. So I better have an answer for all of those things, right? And that's what a system is. And so when I approach a coach about doing a system, or they approach me, I pepper them with this. And I say, listen, you better be willing to give them the answers. Don't just draw plays up without showing some game film, and show the good and the bad. In our systems, we'll show you game film of plays losing yardage. The other thing, Kenny, and it's really important to me, is I won't put a system out that doesn't include the drills and the practice schedules, because what good is it? I found the secret sauce. There it is. That play will score. Every play is drawn up to score a touchdown. Think about it. Every play is drawn up to score a touchdown. Everybody's blocked. But where's the technique? How you teach it? How many drills are involved? How am I going to teach that shoulder skill, the hand skill, the reach block? You know, this block, this play doesn't happen without this double team. This play doesn't happen without, this backfield action. This play doesn't happen unless the receiver makes this cut and the ball's in the air at this landmark. Do you have time and practice to teach it? So what's the drills of everybody wants to know what we run, but I'm shocked on the internet. Nobody ever asked Kenny and I how we run it. We both have very successful Facebook groups right now, and they're both in the thousands, and we contribute to both channels. They're always on there with X's and O's. And think about Kenny, your Facebook group. I've never had somebody post going, how do you install it? What's your practice schedule? I never get an email about my practice schedule. And the practice schedule is the most important part. It's the most important part. So with that thing is I'm system driven. And I think I've dropped a couple of things here about how important the off the field stuff is. So I'm frantically trying to get this whole worst to first product out, which is a blueprint for running an entire program. And I didn't want to be a bunch of philosophy. This is turnkey. This is the PowerPoint you need for your first parent meeting. This is the PowerPoint you do in your player meetings. This is your nutrition talk in the weight room. This is your fundraising letters. And I put about 30 or 40 fundraisers in there. Fundraisers I've gotten from other people. I don't do all these fundraisers, but these are successful fundraisers because I've been able to travel the country. So this is it's actually coming in a 3-ring binder. It's not even going to be a book, and there's not going to be a philosophy. It's just here's your first booster letter. Here's your fundraising letter. Here's your Excel sheet for your grades to do your kids' grades. This is stuff that a coach could the next day go to school and put into place. I'm struggling with how to do the Google Doc thing because I don't want it all over the internet. And so I'm trying to figure out how to make that so it's somewhat, I don't know, password protected to the people who are running the thing. So that's my that's the project I've got in the pipe right now. I'm a little bit behind on it. I've got a couple of really loyal coaches who have been very patiently waiting for that product to come out. And I really appreciate those guys' patience because I really want to put out a good product because, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, that is so much more important than what defense or offense you can run. I can't even emphasize enough. And I was that coach. I was all about the X's and O's. When I went to clinics, I only went the X's and O's talks. I honestly, not that I have all the answers because I don't want to sit through an X's and O's talks. When I go, if I'm not speaking at Glacier Clinic, I go listen to culture. And I know Kenny's going to have Randy Jackson on that. I mean, I couldn't put that book down. That's the stuff I'm at. I bought the Parker resource. I think that's another one that's going to be on this YouTube channel. I got on his website and bought all his stuff. That's where I'm at right now is the culture and my whole, I have two mottos on that part of it is better today, never as good as tomorrow. I don't care how old you are. And our job is not to win football games. Better sons, husbands, and fathers. And that's my core value. Well, actually, that's my mission statement. There is no decision we make in our program unless it does one of those three things, period. So that's kind of where I'm at. The direction of All Access is kind of heading in that direction of the off the field stuff. I think the internet is filled with all this X's and O's bull crap. And I call it bull crap. There's just too much out there. They don't need another guy out there putting X's and O's up. I think we need culture. I think we need guys like Randy Jackson and Parker putting more stuff out about culture and program building. And I think there needs to be more stuff about the process, Nick Saban's process. I think we always look at the end result. What does the play look like? How do I score? What's your favorite call on 3rd and long? I'll be honest with you. I don't think it matters. If I've got culture and belief and I did my job in the weight room and we ran really hard, intense practices, there's lots of plays I can call that are going to be successful just because I'm more conditioned than you. I'm stronger than you. My kids love each other and their technique is better than yours. So if I do the process, I don't need one play to call at the goal line when I've got to win the game. I think it's all that preparation I did in January and February that wins me the game at the goal line, not my play call. I'm sure guys out there going, no, the Rick Stewart's just full of poop, right? But
no, man, that's
where I'm at. I'm at the process.
Yeah, no, Coach, I agree. You know, that's the first book I put out, and it's still the one I've sold the most of, and I'm the most proud of was.
Oh, the Find a Way book. I love that book.
Yeah. So
yeah, I read that in the airport on the way home from Alabama. I mean, I couldn't put it down here. That was an easy read too. It was only like 80, 90 pages. Right. It was an easy read. I really enjoyed that book.
Yeah. No, I think it's like you said, that's where it's at. And so, Coach, if guys, you know, are still on at this point, want to go find your website. I know All Access. Is it just All Access Coaching or
just allaccesscoaching.com?
Good. And I know you've got multiple things on CoachTube you mentioned. And where can they find you if they just want to hit you up with a question?
Rick at allaccesscoaching.com. If you click any button on that website, all roads lead back to my email box. I'm still a fan of email. Please don't private message me on Twitter and Facebook. I'm too old. I can't figure that stuff out, and I can't send attachments. And I'll find a Twitter message like it's a month old. I'm thinking, oh my God, this coach asked me a question a month ago, and I didn't know how to check my messages on Twitter. But if you email me, I can return those pretty fast. Rick at allaccesscoaching.com, and then our website.
Okay. Well, Coach, I appreciate you being on, and guys, like the rest of this week, you'll get to hear from different coaches, and I can promise you, just from experience working with Rick, that what he says is what he's going to do. You know, so if he's a guy you're looking to get materials from or partner up with, like I did on a few things, he's a good one to work with. And Coach, I appreciate your time.